So you have probably about another hour and a half, 2 hours to spend throughout the town. Is there anything you'd like to look for? Would you like to just interact with the people? As you know, you'll head out in the morning to go and see Jace about obtaining a horse.
Can't think of anybody else.
Healing potion? Is that something we might be able to find, or is it?
I have 3.
I think we all started.
Yeah, we
three,
all
right?
With you all should have 3 common healing potions.
Oh, yes, I do. That's right.
We should probably get some food, just to have.
Oh, I have some rope.
It's a little bit of some rations,
Yes.
since we'll be traveling in an area that we are not familiar with.
So inside the small square, you can smell there is a bakery. So there is food being prepared. There's also a butchery as well, and a almost looks like a trading post style. You can see the skins drying on the outside. So there's a couple of little places you can go.
We'll go to the trading post.
Sounds good.
All right. Trading post is called World's First Stop. And again, same sort of style signage. It's very thin. Just looks like somebody maybe took like a piece of burnt wood charcoal and just scribbled this on there. Again, the main building of the Tavern of World's End is the only establishment that looks like it was built by craftsmen. Most of the other buildings look like whoever is in there is the one who actually built it themselves. So different size boards kind of put together. Everything looks solid and sturdy, but it doesn't have that uniform look that a true craftsman will put into it. This looks like this is somebody who wanted to open a shop here. They did it themselves.
They even stuck a Irish need not apply sign in the window.
So as you approach into the first stop, a young lady, a human lady, she is very pale, has long blonde hair. She looks to be in her like mid-teens, maybe 16 or so. And as you come in, hello there. How may I help you?
Greetings, young lady.
Hello.
We are looking for, what do you have? Jerky?
Yes, we have different things. We have skins and furs, as well as we do have some dried meat. We do have fresh meat if you were looking to cook something up for yourself. But we do have rations. It's a gold for 10. But if you buy 2 gold, we'll get you 30.
Do we want rations or dried meat?
I'm happy enough to pay for a gold worth of rations, whatever those are. Is it the meat inside?
Yes, it's a combination of some fresh meat and jerky. See, they should last a few weeks out on the road.
Very well.
I'll pay a gold and get 10 and then give 3 and keep the 4th, just in case.
Excellent. You all seem to be new around here.
What gave it away?
Well, you know, we see the same few faces from the day to day. What brings you into our little town here?
You're a typical escort of supplies. For all we know, there might have been rations in our little carriage there.
Oh, so you're new in town. That's sweet. That's very lovely. How long will you be staying with us?
Hopefully just until the next carriage comes. A week, I believe.
Yeah. Sometimes it might be a day or 2 late. That does happen on the road. You know, carriage breaks down, busts an axle. It happens.
It's eaten.
Excuse
horse
me?
runs away.
Oh, I'm Emmy, by the way.
To meet you, we are the Storm Chasers.
Oh,
Oh, that's right. We are.
that's a lovely name. The Storm Chasers. I like that.
Where there is a storm, we will chase it and
Do
tear it
I'll
down
swing my
from the
sword.
Talk to it sternly.
Lovely, lovely. Well, I hope to be seeing you around. We're open from dawn to dusk. Please feel free to look around. Like I said, mainly we have just the furs, though I do have some outside. My father does all the trapping and hunting himself, so he usually brings back things. He should be back any time now. I don't know why she would look at her watch. She has a sundial on her wrist. But please, if you need anything in the realm of meat and furs, you can come right here for that.
How far out does your father go to trap?
Well, just outside of the mile clearing that we have, it's kind of hard to hunt anything in the open fields, so he tends to go into the forests, staying near the roads, because, never know what's out there. I've heard the wolves howl at night, so...
Has he ever come back with interesting stories?
Not really, no. Pretty much just goes out and comes back.
Well then, good day to you.
Oh, thank you. You too, sir. You too.
Good day. Oh, is there anything you recommend we see while we're here, or do?
Well, much for entertainment. There is, I can't remember his name, but there is a bard who does play inside the inn at night. He plays his lute for change, and they let him just kind of play all through the night as long as people are still listening. That's the really only source of entertainment around here, because we are kind of out in the middle of nowhere, so we don't have much else going on outside of the tavern. Though we do get, one or two travelers a day. There's a few villages nearby, but they're about a day to 2 day, all of them away. So it's only a couple times a week, really, you can expect people. Normally, though, it's pretty much just us doing the different farming and hunting and trapping. But the queen wants this outpost to last, so she has been gracious to supply us with things, and she hasn't asked us to pay her back at all. She just wants this place to work, so...
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Oh, you too.
Perhaps we go back to the inn and see if we can hear any interesting stories from anyone else that may have traveled the roads around here.
Yeah, keep an eye out or an ear out for work, since we'll be here for at least a week. I don't want to necessarily take anything from... We'll have to travel tomorrow, so I don't want to commit to anything today, but...
I don't want to build a barn.
No.
That's not my kind of work.
Indeed. Nor is it mine. Nor is glory.
I don't think they have one of those houses here.
Wow.
You looked up.
Didn't realize when it went to sleep it disconnected.
Oh. Home game.
Technical difficulties. It doesn't want to connect. Oh, there we go.
Hey.
Okay. So as you start to head back towards the World's End Inn, you actually do start to hear a strumming on a lute. It's very quiet, very peaceful. He's just off in the corner. He's not like so much performing as just kind of plucking for a little bit of background noise. At this time of day, the afternoon is starting to come to a close. The sun has not set yet, but with the tree line around, the sun is no longer out in the sky. So it is starting to get dark. They have lit some nighttime fires around the center, so the street is lit up for you all as you walk into the tavern.
What season is it?
So right now it's about late spring, not quite the summer.
So the nights are cool.
The nights are cool. It's not too hot. So pretty much people will have fires running all day. It's not like midsummer where it would just get too hot. But as you're walking into the tavern, hearing the slight plucking, there's a bit more. You can start to hear there's some people kind of laughing, joking about. This seems to be like the end of the day when people have closed up. Everyone seems to come into World's End. Everyone seems pretty jovial, like everyone knows everybody type deal. So do you find a table to yourself? Do you try and find maybe there's some gambling or people just having conversation? I leave that up to you.
Find a table, but within earshot of other people.
Yeah, I guess maybe listen to some rumors or listen around and see what people are talking about.
So you want to try to like eavesdrop just kind of nonchalantly as you're walking through. Let me get perception checks from everyone.
Wisdom -1.
21.
18.
Okay. So unfortunately, Aeolus, you are kind of enamored by your new chain. As you're looking at it, you're like,
Very well crafted.
very well, very nice. It's very thin, so you're like, all right. But the other two actually are kind of getting like a good read of the room. You can kind of see that there is I don't want to call it like a divide, but there seems to be a couple of little social groups that are happening. There's one group off to your left that seem to be the real more, I don't want to say loudmouths, but these are the ones who are drinking, having like a really good, like almost too good of a time. Like just, it's kind of early in the night still. It almost seems like they've been probably drinking for most of the day. And then on the other side, you see it's more not quite sophisticated, but this is much more of the groups of people that are kind of more just end of the day, waiting for a good meal, you know. You hear a couple of conversations about the windmill is up and running now, and you know the crops we gotta, you know, talking about the next day and this, and then one thing does catch your ear, in particular you can't particularly tell where it came from, but you did hear someone use the term white. So though you have kept it quiet, the idea of the undead in white, you're getting the interpretation that this is not the first time people have come into here and have spoken of undead things. It's up to you if you want to try to delve further into that conversation, though you're not quite sure where it came from, but you do know somebody is talking.
I'll just, once we find a place to sit, I'll just tell the group that they know about it. I heard someone speaking about it. Seems as though our Madam is not able to keep it as quiet as she wants. The undead roaming.
Probably best they all are aware of it, yes?
One would think, but she really seemed to not like the idea of anyone knowing about it.
Maybe it's more of us not speaking about it outside of this place.
Perhaps. I fear more dangers that we were not told.
Well, clearly, this particular item.
I gotta step away just for a second because I really have to.
This one particular item prevents the sun from contacting the wearer, so obviously
They only function in the shadows.
the white would not need this unless they needed it.
So, for the... I guess this is out of character, but because I guess Tin Can would probably know. But, like, for the whites, like, would they need the dark then they walk around in the light? Is it like vampires? Or they would need a ring like this to be out and about during the daytime?
It's more likely that... Actually, I don't know that you would know.
I know nothing. I know nothing in fake life and real life.
Yeah, we could probably ask him.
Because my first assumption was that, like, oh, they must need that so they can, like, walk around during the day. But, like, maybe that's not the case.
That's Sakidi's assumption.
Mm.
I know the answer, but...
That's the good thing about being new to the game is you legit don't know. You play a little bit, then you're like, now I have to pretend like I don't know.
Yeah. Well, again, I don't think that a white would walk around with an item that they don't need.
I'm not familiar with these creatures. What do you know of them?
They are undead.
But not quite as undead as the other
They're
undead.
quite undead. They're just... They didn't lose themselves entirely. They are more intelligent. The ones that just kind of fell apart, they are more or less servants. Whereas a white is more like a commander.
Interesting.
I have to wonder if something like this might be something that a white might wear to go out and about during the daytime?
Well, it was coming and attacking us pretty close to the dawn.
So if we encounter one again, take his finger.
Or, let me think about what I can do. In terms of the blessings that Whore has laid upon me. That whore. How I do love him so. Yeah, I don't really have... Oh no, wait. I do have something, however, choosing that is quite a... Well, tomorrow when we wake up, I will make sure that, I would assume that we would not necessarily see them in the daylight. While this ring may protect them, I doubt they would take a huge risk coming out in broad day. They still were fighting us as the sun was rising. But just in case, when we are going to travel in the evening, I have the ability to take the power of the Woven Suns and direct it, a portion of it, even if they are not around. A blessing from Hor. I'll keep that in my back pocket.
Guess that could come in handy.
So as the night goes on, you're sitting around the table. It starts to get a little bit quiet. It's probably maybe 2 or 3 hours past sunset now. For the most part, the locals have started to filter out, going into their homes. There are a few people who live in the inn. Most of them are not unlike yourselves. They're the traveling folk who go between the different villages from the day to day. So as it starts to quiet down, the little halfling woman, she comes, sits down, puts down the pitcher. So, how have you found our quaint little town here?
Full of kind people.
Yes, in our position, outsiders is basically how we expect this place to survive. So, a lot of places are weary of outsiders, but in here we have to accept people. It's how we want this place to grow. Have any of you spoken with anyone on the subject that we spoke with this morning?
No, but I did hear others inside this very inn speaking of the subject that you did not want us speaking of.
Yes, the locals are aware of the dangers that lie in the woods. It's why most people don't leave after dusk. And why we tell the carriage drivers to ride through the night and not to stop. Though I know what you saw was quite scary and probably strange. It really does not happen that often. It just seems to sprout up like a weed that must be plucked every so often in these lands. No one knows where they came from.
What keeps them away from this settlement?
We believe it's the numbers. You said that you saw only one with just a few bodies. She kind of looks around, make sure no one's eavesdropping. It seems as though the large numbers is what keeps them away. But they will pick people off if they're out by themselves in the woods. So we're trying to make the city grow, or the town grow into a city, and hopefully that will push them back into a deep, dark part of the woods where no one will find them.
If I may recommend in the future that you tell your delivery folk to make their protection visible at night, as opposed to...
I can make the suggestion to Mr. Clark, but he is under orders from the Queen. She does not want word of this to escape, because right now the number one import of Devenias is trying to get more people to come here. If they were to know then the dead rise in Devenia, they would not come back once they've found out. So the Queen has asked that he keep it quiet. I mean, he could not have anticipated that it would attack a carriage. I mean, it's wild, really.
We're not entirely sure what attacked the carriage, to be perfectly honest.
I feel it was something else entirely.
It was quiet, it was quick, And
So,
yeah,
so you mean Francis wasn't killed by the White?
Francis is gone. Francis disappeared
Before we encountered the White,
well before,
Vanished off.
hours before.
Mid-ride.
it was as though he was there, and then suddenly he wasn't. Not much of commotion or anything.
That's very strange indeed. Well,
Now there are large birds in the area.
I mean, of course. I mean, we are kind of out in the middle of the woods.
That can carry away a man.
Yes, there are giant eagles, giant crows. They've been known to pick up full-grown adults and swoop away, but they tend to like more cliffside areas that they can leap down on their prey. They're not really much for on the road. But I mean, anything is possible. But that's very strange that he just disappeared like that.
Yes, leaving us to fight for our lives within the carriage. Well,
Whatever it was, spooked the horses. Something.
I mean,
Something terrible
he has made the trip before. That's very unsettling. When you make it back to the city, please tell Mr. Clark that he needs to start sending 2 drivers for a carriage. I know that he paid you all in advance, so he is flush for money. He is making quite a name for himself in the city. He has the most influence right now of the people sending out adventuring parties to our small villages and cities throughout Divenia. But I understand how frustrating it is to not be informed of all the dangers that lie ahead.
frustrating is a word for it. Well, tomorrow we plan on visiting Jace.
Yes. He's a bit rough around the edges, but you know, everyone has to make a living, so he is fair on his prices. I will say this though, try to not bring up the fact that he is an elf.
Is he unaware of this fact?
No, he just takes another long sip.
Are elves uncommon in Divenia?
Not so much uncommon, but Jace is unlike an elf that I've ever seen before. Normally, I mean, he has all of the elven features that you would come to expect, but it's different. Normally, elves over time seem to mimic their surroundings. You know, ones living deep in the forest, they have a green tint, and their hair sometimes looks like growing things, and he does not look like that. He is beautiful. I will say that, but there's something different. He doesn't have the light hair that you expect an elf to have. His hair is black, like night, and he doesn't seem like the other elves that I've met. Just don't call him an elf. That seems to upset him for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, it should be simple enough. I don't go around saying, "Hey human," or "Hey halfling," or "Hey elf" to those that I've met.
Do you think he would be offended if we did not directly say he was an elf, but to ask if perhaps he knows how to read Elvish?
Well, I suppose not. If you don't call him an elf, that I think perhaps.
Maybe I could strike up a conversation about all the languages we speak and our travels, and we can just be like, "Hey, what do you speak any other languages?" Maybe something like that, like slip it in.
Mm-hmm.
Or approves of that terminology.
I will say he is definitely likes his solitude, but like I said, he will talk with you if you speak to him first. He isn't much of a conversationalist though, kind of that quiet, brooding type.
Mm. We should get along splendidly, I'm sure.
I mean, and don't take this the wrong way, but you know, people talk. You are the new arrivals in town, so and people have said that you've been quite personable, which is good. Because I'm not going to lie, people will talk about you here. Like I
Well,
said,
we'll talk about people.
Yes. We don't get many people staying more than a day or two. So when someone's staying for a week, people tend to want to know what's going on. I'm sure you can all understand. Kind of know thy neighbor sort of deal.
I'm not sure if you know him on this level, but do you happen to know if Jace likes pastries?
Honestly, I've never seen Jace eat, but he is a hunter and trapper, so I would assume he at least eats meat. I don't think he farms other than maybe probably grazing for his own vegetables out in the woods. But I've been there a few times. He does seem to have cooking utensils, so I assume he does eat. I've just never seen him eat.
Are you thinking of making a meat pie?
Well, no. I mean, there was a bakery, right?
Yes. The bakery opens up at dawn. He usually tries to start a little before opening so that he can have hot, fresh bread, but you can also buy anything that he has available for ingredients.
Maybe even bread. I just feel like it doesn't hurt to show up not empty-handed
Absolutely.
when we're going to someone's home, especially if we're not sure if they will like us.
In Devenia, outside of taverns and inns, when you do go into someone's home, we do respect guest right in Devenia. So if he does either offer or take your food, you can be assured that he is offering you safe passage in his home.
All right then, something to think about.
Excellent. I forgot to mention your room is on the second floor. The fifth floor is not complete yet, and the other rooms are still occupied. But we keep a room on the second floor open for Mr. Clark's employees.
All right.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. As you say, you can hear the bard still strumming away. He has a small little hat, a couple of coins that people have tossed into him through the night, just kind of strumming through his night. If you have anything else you would like to do, or you can...
I'd like to go over to the bard and just sort of nod along for a minute, and then I'm going to take a gold and put it in his hat.
When he sees that you place the gold, there's like a quick and you've come to realize he does this for the big tippers. He gives them a quick strum as almost to announce to everyone in the bar, like, hey, look, this is a good tipper over here.
I was gonna just stand up and start like playing like a mariachi song.
seeing that, then Sakidi's gonna walk over and like, well, I can't let you get away with that. Also toss a gold in.
And he bops his head and does the extra to you as well.
I'm gonna take fill a cup from the pitcher on the table, and then I'm just going to use gust to blow the wind to use the wind to pick up the cup and blow it to him.
The gust.
Yeah. Says I can move an object up to 10 feet.
Like without spilling it?
I know.
Yeah. I'm controlling it.
Gust of wind.
I want you to roll
Not nature.
roll a d20 and add your spell modifier. We're gonna see how well you control the gust to keep it from spilling.
Oh. That's a 9.
9 total. So as the gust, it is almost like an underhand toss. It comes up and it does a like 3/4 turn and then hits the table upside down and just kind of it doesn't spill everywhere, but when it landed, some of the liquid just kind of started to leak out through the sides of the table. And he looks down. He's still strumming, but he looks down, he looks in the eye, and he just kind of gives you like a nod, like, nice attempt.
It's late.
Well, if it's that late, we should probably go to bed.
Who left that window open?
So I don't have anything else to. Yeah, she's just gonna do her prayers and go to sleep.
So after your first day at the World's End Inn, you go and find yourself drifting off to sleep. For in the morning you have an 8-hour trek.
I'm stopping at the bakery.
Oh yes, I think that's a very nice idea.